I'd like to say a few words about the vision behind the Brighton Natural Health Centre charity and why we're seeking your support for our work. I want to start with some bad news, and then I'm going to move on to some good news. So we're all aware that we're facing major challenges at the moment: climate change, environmental breakdown, cost of living crisis, and so on, war in Europe. But there's one crisis that I don't think is talked about enough, and that is the ever-growing epidemic of what are called chronic non-infectious diseases. So they include cancer, cardiovascular disease, that's heart attacks and strokes, dementia and diabetes, alongside a seemingly unstoppable rise in worldwide obesity, which underlies a lot of these chronic diseases. The incidence of these diseases has been growing steadily over the last couple of decades, and they're expected to double in the next 2 decades. We seem to have got used to the fact that ever greater numbers of people are living the last decades of their lives with varying degrees of suffering and in need of expensive medical and social care. We're also now facing a terrible toll of mental ill health, especially among the young, exacerbated by the COVID epidemic. And the simple fact is that no health system, however well funded, wherever it is in the world, can hope to treat its way out of this crisis. To give just one example, the financial cost of dealing with dementia in the UK at the moment is running at about £34 billion a year. That's expected to almost triple to £94 billion by 2040. So that's just in 18 years. And the same pattern applies to all the chronic diseases that I mentioned. If you're sitting in the health ministry of any government on the planet, these data make terrifying reading. There's only one logical answer to these problems, and that's to try and prevent these diseases before they arise, particularly since they're largely incurable diseases. The Yellow Emperor's classic of internal medicine, the kind of early Bible of Chinese medicine, compiled around 2,000 years ago, wrote that starting to deal with disease after it's arisen is like only starting to dig a well when you're dying of thirst, or only starting to forge weapons when the battle is waging all around you. There are 3 principal causes of ill health and reduced longevity, shorter life. The first is our constitution, our genetic inheritance. The second is the misfortune we encounter in life, all kinds of misfortune, economic, epidemics, geography, climate, and so on. The third is lifestyle, and that's the one that we have some power over, some ability to change. The evidence that lifestyle plays such an important role in these chronic diseases is that wherever modern Western lifestyles spread, these diseases follow in their wake. More and more of the world's population, for just as one example, have moved away from eating traditional natural foods in favour of manufactured food-like substances. In the UK, for example, over half of all calories consumed today come from ultra-processed junk foods put out by the unregulated food industry. We also lead more and more sedentary lives and are subjected to all kinds of stresses that our ancestors knew nothing about. So that's the bad news. The good news is that many of these diseases have been proven, they have a really strong evidence base, that they're preventable if we adopt healthier lifestyles. We founded Infinity Foods over half a century ago because we understood that eating a simple, natural diet, organically grown wherever possible, could improve our own individual health, the health of our communities, and the health of the planet. Some of us started to practice things like meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, and so on, and discovered for ourselves how effective they were at building physical and mental well-being. And that was why we set up Brighton Natural Health Centre just over 40 years ago, to offer them to the wider community at a time when they were pretty thin on the ground, and I have to say very uncommercial. The practices that we teach here focus on one or more of three key elements. The first is bodywork, developing and maintaining a strong, mobile, balanced, healthy and enjoyable body right through life if possible. The second is mindfulness, which offers all the proven mental, emotional and psychological benefits of meditation. The third is slow, deep breathing, which has been shown to shift us into more relaxed, healing and trusting states. When these three are combined, mindful body work with slow breathing, as in yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, conscious dance and similar practices, their transformative effect is powerful. We become healthier, calmer, more emotionally stable and resilient, and better equipped to deal with whatever life throws our way. The reason we set up Brighton Natural Health Centre as a charity is that we wanted to make these practices available to those who wouldn't normally be able to afford them. For many years, therefore, in addition to our regular classes, we've run a wide range of low-cost classes for the general public and free classes for disadvantaged groups. For example, female refugees, migrants and asylum seekers, trauma survivors and the homeless. We're currently partnering with a loneliness charity to help with movement and connection for those who are isolated, and are offering tailored yoga and breathing practices for some of the many thousands, or actually possibly hundreds of thousands of people suffering from long COVID. We've also put on numerous free community talks on different aspects of individual and planetary health. Many of these have been filmed and can be watched on the Brighton Natural Health Centre YouTube channel, along with dozens of other free health videos. Which brings us to the here and now. The fact is that for many years we've managed to get by using the income from our regular classes and a small amount of fundraising to support our charitable work. But the pandemic hit us hard and paid classes still haven't recovered. We now need the help of the community to help us keep going, to support our work and allow us to continue these positive practices for years to come. We believe that healthier individuals lead to healthier families, healthier communities and a healthier planet. So there are two ways you can help. The first is to come to classes here at the centre. We believe we have the best and most qualified teachers in the city and a fabulous management team. Not only will you be supporting us in this way, but you'll be reaping the benefits yourselves. The second is by donating to our GoFundMe appeal to directly support our charitable work and the admin costs that enable it. And please don't forget to tell your rich friends if you have any.